once again for the IFSA Officials Roundtable Series. I'm really happy that you're here joining us today for this very special episode. And as you may know, this roundtable series provides a space where IFSA members can learn directly from the current team and get inspiration to apply for a position during the upcoming election process for the IFSA Officials Team for the 2022-2023 term. So at the end of the episode, you will know more about the requirements to apply for to a position in the Communication Commission, and what can you include in your application, and you get a better understanding of the main task that the position demands, and as well as the estimated time dedicated to cover your task. So first, I will ask you to join us in Slido. So if you can join here using this codec or the number in the screen, it will be really nice. We have some questions for you before we start with the presentation.
Are you guys able to access the Slido? It says here, sorry, there is no such event active right now.
Oh.
Or maybe that's just for my end. I'll try to refresh.
I will try also.
I can access it just fine.
Okay, so it's just a me thing. Don't mind me.
Okay, so if you're there, let's start with the first question. Oh, also Lau is having the same issue. Maybe if you refresh. Okay, so we have the first question for you. It's, are you planning to apply for a position for this incoming term? Okay, yes, not sure. Okay, maybe after the presentation, you will be more sure about this. Okay, perfect, it's working now. Thanks, Lau. Okay, more yes. It will be really nice to have you on this amazing team and family. Okay, 50-50. But do you need to change the answer for not sure to yes? Okay. Okay, more yes, that's really nice, yes. Okay, let's see the next one. Now, tell us, what are your expectations from this event? What are you want to learn here? Okay, participants typing. To know the requirements and duties and responsibilities of head of subcommission, yes. You will hear that directly from the team in the ComCom today. Learn more about what subcommissions in communication commissions do, yes. Very important work they do. Getting to know more about other subcommissions in IFSA, especially in ComComs, yes. For future episodes, you will learn from the other commissions too. But today, it's the occasion for the ComCom. What are their experiences being in this position? I want to find out more about your positions and duties because I honestly have very little idea what you actually do. Yeah, I think that sometimes happen for everyone. Before you get involved more in IFSA, you are like, okay, there is IFSA officials, well, what they do. So yeah. We all can relate with that. Okay. Okay, one more participant, two more participants are typing. Want to get to know more with the IFSA board. Okay, yeah, we also have the episodes, the last episodes in the web page. So you can see the first episode with the board, the second with the heads of commissions, and the third with the regional representatives. Comcoms 101. Yeah, literally. Okay. So let's start with the presentation. Or okay, yeah. Let's see. For today, we have the introduction, the officials presentation. At the end, we will have a space for the questions and answers and some closing remarks. So now let me introduce you to Chloe. She is the head of the Communication Commission for this term. So she will be very happy to introduce her team. So Chloe, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jasmine, and hello to everyone who's here in this meeting right now. It's so exciting to see that there's a lot of people interested in Comcoms, because honestly, we need a lot of people in Comcoms. Yeah, so listed here are the 5 main subcommissions, which is web, social media, Discord, and design, and then publications respectively. As you can see the pictures of the officials here. Unfortunately, our head of Discord, Karen, won't be here today, but she's prepared a quick video for her segment in this presentation. So I'm really excited to see how you guys will be formulating questions and discussing your parts. And just to give a quick overview of what Comcoms does, Comcoms manages all the online presence of IFSA, particularly the website, Discord channels, social media pages, YouTube channels, even Zoom events, and of course all the behind the scenes things and with that relate to designing certain brochures, certain social media cards, and that's essentially it. Comcoms relates to a lot of officials' works. So when you're in Comcoms, you're not just working within your commission, you're going to talk a lot with other officials, such as the membership committee, the externals committee, and of course your internal department people as well. You'll be working close with CDC and other officials. So it's going to be a very good opportunity to be working on networking among the IFSA family, and as well as other people who you think might be able to present their sides as part of the um, advocacy to share the word of forestry among the youth. And with that, for my introduction, that's it for me. And I'll be passing the floor to the Comcoms team. Let's go, guys! Woo! Yeah, so first off, we have head of subcommission web. So take it away, Al.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. My signal is unstable right now, so I'll turn off my camera. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ao. Hello?
We can hear you.
Sorry, guys, I got kicked out. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ao. I'm the current head of web subcommission. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Okay. So the main task of the head of web, there's 4. The first one is managing the website, of course. So we manage the technical side to ensure that the website is up and running smoothly. And website management also includes uploading posts, updating information like the pages and the events. The second one is to manage the IFSA mail system. The head of web will manage the IFSA mail system for all of IFSA officials and commissioners and LC, including adding new user, deleting old user, and if people forgot their login information, we will be the one who reset their passwords. The third one is support with the Google tools, because the head of web is one of the admin for ifsa.net. So we will help the board to manage the IFSA Google tools. The last one is IFSA Zoom account. So we're the ones schedule the meetings and overview if there's meetings, so there's no meetings that are overlapping, and we're the one opening the Zoom room and assistance with Zoom functions, especially like live stream to YouTube usually. And maybe next slide. Okay, this some of the additional tasks of the head of web. Usually, IFSA YouTube is managed by social media, but this year, head of web will also helping to manage the IFSA YouTube channel, including making some of the thumbnails and tidying up the channel slot. Next. Okay. Also, we have to coordinate with other departments and officials. For example, we currently have a project with IPC, International Processes Commission. I help them to record the IPC presentation session with IPC commissions, includes editing the video and uploading it to YouTube. So in Comcoms, we really need to have skills in multimedia, because it's not only like just maybe managing the web or just design something. We need to know everything because there's a lot of coordinating with others, comms especially. Maybe next slide. Okay. The time for the head of web will be like 5 or until 8 hours a week. It's kind of flexible because you need to be available when something needs to be published, or if there's technical issues, or if there's like someone forgetting their password, so you need to go to manage the IFSA mail. Also, if there's a sudden request on Zoom, you have to also available to help them with that. And some required skills, it's not some, it's actually quite a lot. The first one, of course, the web literacy is a requirement, because managing website is a technically challenging task, because there's a lot of things to do when you manage a website. Knowledge of WordPress is needed because we use WordPress. Then have knowledge on Zoom system. Also know how to live streaming to YouTube from Zoom. It's some of the skills. Then familiar with Google Workspace, because we use Google for our system in IFSA, like IFSA mail, like IFSA mail and admin, like that. Experience in web technologies is an asset, but I'm not actually pro in that, like HTML and coding or things like that. But it's an asset if you have that skill. Then social media and designs, writing skills, video editing, also great assets, because sometimes we have to work with others head of sub commission in Comcom as well. I also sometimes help to design things like thumbnails or just filter image for the post. So it's kind of, in Comcoms we have some of work that required designs. So you have to at least know how to use Canva for the easy one. Next. I think that's all for web. This just a little bit quote. I don't think that's even a quote. Even if it looks a lot, but Comcoms will always be there to help you. Okay, I think I think that's all from me.
Yay, thank you so much, Owl. So yeah, just to recap, web looks like a very, very technical position. And while it is, yes, there will of course be people who will help you, and especially during the transition process. So don't worry if you are not too pro in these skills. You can definitely develop them as you go along, and the current officials and past officials will be there to help you if you have any questions. So with that, we'll be going to the next subcommission, which is social media. So for this subcommission, we have Elizabeth, and take it away. Woohoo!
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Elizabeth, current head of subcommission social media, and I'll just like to give a few details of what position entails, tasks, and required skills. So next slide, please. Okay, so the main tasks of the position includes managing social media accounts, and that's like the basic, that's like the major tasks of the position. It involves delivering updates to the IFSA Facebook account, Instagram account, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You have to post updates, news items, and then post other general contents. Then the second task of position is to respond to questions and messages in social media accounts. So most times when you post informative things, questions will come up under the comments, like people will ask questions. So as the head of subcommission, you are in charge of responding to these messages and replying them and directing them to the right person. Then the next one is create campaigns for international environmental events. So this involves creating designs, social media cards, just like today is World Environmental Day. So as the head of subcommission, you have to work with the head of design rather, so that they can make something for this event and then you post it. Then the next one is engage with IFSA partners by sharing or retweeting the content from their respective social media. That is, you have to like reach out to the contact person of the event and ensure that there's a person creating all of this. You work together with them, IFSA partners, you share, you tweet, and you post the content that are available for that particular event. I don't know if everyone can hear me clearly. Can everybody hear me clearly? Okay.
Yes,
So
we can
for,
hear
Hear
you.
you well.
okay. So for the additional tax, if you have to publish news, yes, that is also part of the main tax. You have to publish news submitted on the news factory. Then you create real-time content for events like when there are events that you have to attend, or when you have to post things, create maybe videos and all of that for events. Then creating caption for posts. There are times when there will be an event that you need to post, and the caption might not be added to it. So you have to come up with catching and creative content captions for that post, and um, a caption that will go along with that post. Then you post it, because not every time you get captioned with your post. Then the last additional tax, which will also boost the the social media platforms that you're managing, is creating engagement posts. So you would not only have to post events or announcements, you'd have to also create engagement posts, things that will make people, that will make followers engage in our posts, that will make us get more followers, that will draw attention. You have to create engagement posts like that. And one of the ones we have currently is a fun fact. We post that like twice or once in a week. Then we have the Job Talk series that was started by the last head of supervision. And we actually tried to continue that in this term, but one or two things came up. But then we see the next head of supervision will work on that. So next slide, please. Yeah, so required skills for the position. The first major skill that you need as the head of social media subcommission is you have to have the social media management and administration. You have to have the experience of you must have the experience of handling this, because you have to be able to come up with things that would attract people, how to come up with captions that will go along with cards you're giving. So you have to have the knowledge of social media management and administration. Then the next one, you have to have good written English skills. Yes, because this is very important, because you get to write captions. Even when you're trying to create a card, like a social media card, you have to make sure that your use of English, your words are in line and correct. So you have to have a good written English skills. It's required to uphold a professional public image for the association. So this is very, very important, because the social media account is like, this is like what most people come in contact with first, even before they get to know us as a person. So having a good English skills is required. Then the next one is excellent communication skills. That also goes in line with having good written English skills, because without without having great communication skills, you will not be able to manage the social media accounts and platforms. So you really need this you need communication skills. Then you have to have knowledge in USUT. This will save you time of having to post. This will save you time, when you have to post the same thing on like 3 to 4 different social media platforms. This saves time. You can just through your own to post them all, and other social media management tools. So you have to be able to use this. Then here you have to be creative. Like I said earlier in the main task, when I talked about creating engagement posts, you have to be creative, because if you do not create if you do not try to create engaging and creating creative posted captions, people would not visit the social media platforms. So you have to be creative so as to like keep followers attracted and engaged with the platforms. Then efficiency and top-notch organization. Yeah, so just to make things come out great, like I said, you have to be efficient with your post. Like if you have to post something tomorrow, and the request comes that okay, please post this on so date at so time. You have to be efficient enough to meet up with the demands. If it says please post this in the next 3 hours, you have to be efficient enough to meet up with that. And then the organization skills, having to know that okay, you have to post this first, and this doesn't come first. So that's for the last one, being efficient and having great organization skills. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the estimated work time, an average of 8 to 6 hours. Yeah, this is just an estimated time. There are times in the day when you have to post like 3 different things, sometimes two, even when there are events, and you just have to keep posting all through that day. So you must, however, be available on demand. Like there are times when in 3 full days you're just on the account trying to post, maybe when there's an event or a conference, and you have to like keep people that are not in attendance, you have to keep them updated, you have to post content from delegates or those that are in attendance. You have to be available to do that. So aside from the 6 8 hours a week, you have to be available on demand to post all of this. And there are times when urgent posts come up when you wouldn't even plan for, the ones you wouldn't even plan for. You just have to make time for that and be able to post them. So I think that this is the last slide. Okay, yeah. That's the last slide. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Yay, thank you, Elizabeth. So yes, we can see that social media is one of the most involved with many accounts. So if you have experience in your IFSA LC with your own social media accounts, or maybe you had an online business before and you're working with social media accounts, you would know that nuances of that. And if you are interested in applying for social media for the next term, be sure to hit us up. We're here and available. So yeah, we'll be going to our next presenter, which is Karen, head of Discord. She's prepared a cute video here for us all. Take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm Karen. I'm currently the head of subcommission of Discord. First of all, I want to apologize for not being with you today. You were like my family, but I am in an environmental activity with my LC. Before I begin to talk to you about the tasks that are done in Discord, I want to tell you a little about this server. The Discord subcommission is very new. I am the second person in charge of it. As we all know, 2 years ago a pandemic invaded the whole world, so IFSA, to have a very large community of people in links, had events to follow, so it was decided that this platform would be the most viable option for the development of events and greater interaction and communication with all members of IFSA. In Discord, we have a variety of channels related to all kinds of topics you want to know about IFSA, from study groups to projects to meet people from other parts of the world and make them your friends. Share pictures of your pets, foods, books, and more. It is as if we were living together but virtually. So it is one of our most important networks within our entire IFSA world. Okay, starting with the tasks that are done here. My presentation is very brief, so it will give me time to cover the most important points. Okay, let's start. The Discord manager is mainly responsible for creating categories, channels, and roles that you require for the development of projects within the community. This can be private or public as required. Also, announcement for certain channels. The application uses its own programming language, but it's very easy to use and to understand because this server gives you the codes and so on. Simone has the time to help you, but really it's very easy. You must also have an order for the channels that exist there and their latest updates to delay them, archive them, or keep them for future events. It must be constantly in use so that the members are active in it. This with the help of the board, departments, commissions, and all of us who are inside. The additional tasks that are generated in the subcommission is the creation of announcements for some official IFSA. For example, announcements have been made for the Cultural Day and pre-learning so that you receive a notification about the events in those channels, and sometimes help out to record the IPC. And also, if you want to go a little deeper, recently I have been making a guide which will be shared with all the IFSA LC to join Discord, and also will open a space to do some activities within the server to able to enjoy more time between all IFSA members. The skills that are required for this position are have a basic knowledge of Discord, understand how the MEE6 boot works, knowledge about how IFSA works, but above all, a lot of attitude and responsibility. The work within the Commission is relatively small, since everything depends on how many channels have to be done per week, but it doesn't take more than 1 hour. Sometimes the time zones are difficult, but the creations of channels is always required with time. So it's very easy, and that's all my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions or comments, you can send me a message on Discord or to my email. And greetings, IFSA family. With love, Karen. Bye.
All right, that was a very succinct presentation by our head of Discord. Since she will be unable to answer any questions during the Q&A, I'll try my best to fill in for what if anyone has questions directed for Discord subcommission at this channel. But if you prefer to consult with Karen herself, you could just go to her contact information and send her an email or message. So yay! Thank you for that. And we'll be moving on to our very lovely head of design subcommission. Take the floor, Uma.
So, hello everyone. Good evening from Indonesia now. I'm Uma. I'm the current head of design subcommission in IFSA. And hello. So we can move on to the next slide, maybe. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and explain a bit about what is the design subcommission. So basically, the design subcommission is the subcommission that has all things to do with the design aspects in IFSA. And then the main task is actually I am simplifying the main task of this position. So first and foremost is to produce and maintain the IFSA templates. That includes the Google documents, and then also there should be certificates and the template as well, such as social media templates. And then also to integrate IFSA templates to the Canva theme. This is because we have to understand that not everyone in IFSA knows how to use the Adobe family, such as the Photoshop or the Adobe Illustrator. And Canva team really helps other IFSA officials or other IFSA members in creating the design, and it's easier for them to basically access it. So yes, we have to integrate our templates to the Canva team. And then also to design materials for promoting IFSA events on online platforms. And also to ensure proper use of IFSA brands, such as the logo, the color palette, and also the font, in which you can see in this presentation. And then also, other than to ensure the proper use of IFSA logo, is to create this is also like a working with other IFSA officials and working together in IFSA projects, such as the IFSA 3 Learning, and which I got the chance to create the logo there, and it was really fun in experimenting with the logo itself. So as you can see, there's the logo of the Canva, and then also the Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe Premiere, in which the applications from the Adobe family that you mostly use in the design subcommission. And then maybe we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so the additional task in this position is to first and foremost work together with the web subcommission at the beginning of the term. And this is to update the IFSA wheel structure according to the structure in the IFSA in the respective IFSA term. And for example, here is the IFSA wheel structure for the term 2021 and 2022. And then also coordinating with other subcommissions and communication commission as well, such as the publication and then Discord and also social media. And then other than that is also to work together with other subcommission and partners for IFSA projects, because sometimes IFSA partners also reach out to you in case they need help in designing posters and so on. And then this is one of the things that I do also. This is for the GLF IFSA delegates experience at the GLF Amazonia Digital Conference, where I got the chance to help edit this in editing the delegates experience video for IFSA. And then maybe we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so I hope I'm still audible. I'm so sorry because I'm currently outside now. And okay, thank you. For the working hours now, on average is like 3 to 7 hours per week, depending on how many tasks or like projects or design requests you're working on. Because sometimes you got a lot of requests in 1 week, but sometimes you didn't even get any requests in 1 week. So the majority of your deadlines basically is to follow the external deadlines or the request that you get. And then for the required skills, good designing skills would be a very good asset. That includes knowing basically the basic knowledge of design itself, and then the knowledge of the most common designing software such as the Photoshop and then Adobe Illustrator. It would be really helpful in creating new templates that you would integrate to Canva later on. And then experience with the common file format is also would be an asset. For example, if you want to make a PDF as an output, you have to know like the basic or the common file format that you would use, or like the TIFF or JPEG. And then other than that is a communication skills to coordinate with other team members or IFSA officials as well. And but if you think that the required skills here is to what is it called, like strict in a way, what is most important is you're willing to learn, because I myself as the head of design subcommission at this time, at this moment, right now, I don't think that I'm a pro myself in design. I still have a lot to learn, and I would still need to experience more in this field. And I think that's what is fun in this position. So I think that is all from me for my presentation for the head of design subcommission. So I hope it gives you a little information a bit about this position, and I am giving it back to Chloe or Jasmine. Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you, Uma. You can see that design is a very, very visual position. So even if you're not working on a specific project, you're always going to be thinking of how can I work on this? How can I improve this? And you're very reliant on templates because you're also the one creating those templates. But yeah, very exciting position to learn into. And it's something that is very experimental along with, well, other positions of Comcast. Okay, but for now, last but not least, we'll be having the presentation by our head of subcommissions. Yuyo, take it away if you're ready to open your camera and talk about your slides for the presentation.
Thank you, Chloe. Hi, everyone. I'm Yuyo, currently the head of publications of commission. Next slide, please. So the main tasks of publication is to create monthly newsletter and review News Factory submissions for this term. We had some discussion about the function of News Factory date D, so it might change. That maybe you won't need to review the submissions, or maybe you still need to in the next term. And you will also publish the blog post. For the newsletter, you can collect the blog posts, the events on IFSA.net and from the partner organizations. Next slide, please. And I tried twice. Like you can do some IFSA officials interview. There were some about 2 years ago. There were interesting facts about officials column in the monthly newsletter. So it's just like the feature of the newsletter. You don't need to do it in the same way. And on the screen you can see is the first interview I've done. Next slide, please. And the work, I would say it's about 5 hours a week, but before publishing the newsletter, you will have to spend more hours that time. And the required skills include good English writing skills, at least no basic grammar or spelling errors. But I think you can fix it with Grammarly since you're going to have Google accounts. And experience in MailChimp, because the IFSA newsletter are created by MailChimp. It's not very complicated to learn to use, so if you're a fast learner, it's okay if you don't have any experience in using MailChimp. And since you got to read a lot of blog posts and decide which one and how you will write in the newsletter, you'll also need fast English reading speed. You'll need good communication skills to cooperate with other officials, like talk about if you're going to post the event reports, or sometimes I will ask if the representatives will write what they've learned in the meetings, and you'll need to follow up the event updates and reports. Like sometimes the regional representatives might be too busy, so they won't write about the results of the regional meeting in time, and you can they don't know how they can write it, so you can go and show them some examples and check if they can finish it before the published date of the newsletter. And this is the end of my part. Thank you.
Yay, thank you, Yuyo. So yes, we see that newsletter is actually a really quick run through, because the tasks mainly involve collection of the news articles, formatting and layout. But of course, if you feel like you need to review a lot of things, especially when people make submissions for blog posts. You need to see what's an appropriate format in presenting this in an email newsletter style. That's something that publications does, apart from initiating the collection of the submissions itself. So that's it for the run of ComComs. Maybe I'll just give a quick run through before we go to the question and answer portion. So you see that the main things that you need as a ComComs member would be one, communication skills, technical skill, and two is the technical skills depending on which position you're in, and three, of course, there's the organization as you need for any of IFSA official position. And fourth is your teamwork with your fellow ComComs members and your willingness to reach out to them. So if anyone's eyeing a specific position for ComComs, my general advice would be to go to the platform managed by that specific subcommission. Like if you're interested in design, start exploring Canva. If you're interested in newsletter publications, start exploring MailChimp, or read newsletters that are prescribed in email so that you can make recommendations or make observations on what works, what it doesn't, and what you think you can improve on. And that's about it. I'll be passing the floor to Jasmine now for the question and answer. Yay!
Thank you, Chloe, and thank you everyone for the ComCom. It was a really nice presentation. And as you see, there is a lot of tasks here, but I think it's kind of funny, or yeah, it's kind of, I don't know how to say it, but like you have to do a lot of things, but it's really nice to see what you've done. So thank you so much for that. And now, if you have any questions for any of the heads of subcommissions that are here, or even for Karen, that she's not here, but Chloe can help you to answer the doubts you have. So you can write us in the Slido presentation or in the chat box, or even you can open your mic and ask yourselves. Not everyone at the same time.
Okay, I think people are either still thinking of their questions or maybe they're a bit shy. Oh, one participant is typing. Yeah, let's go. Well, someone's typing. Maybe I could also present like a question that I got from someone who was interested before in applying for a ComComs position. So someone asked me, what's the most challenging part of going into a position? Like, is it very intimidating knowing that you'll have to learn a lot of things by the start of the term? And will it affect, how does it work when balancing it with your school life or work responsibilities? And I think this question can be directed to any ComComs official. So if anyone wants to answer that, we can go for that. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, if you don't have questions, you can also give us your feedback in general for the presentation and the structure of the episode, so we can improve for the next ones. Maybe Chloe, you can you can go.
Oh my gosh. Yes. All right. Going back to the question that I posed. This is for all the officials presented here. When you first started out, what was the thing that you were worried about the most? And how has that progressed while you were in that position? So maybe we can start with Uma, head of design.
Okay, I hope I'm audible. I think what I'm afraid the most when I first got into this position is that whether or not I could adapt in this position, because uh, I was the head of media and communication commission in my LC, and then I decided to apply for the design subcommission because back then it was really fun for me to do something that at the end of the day, people would like it, or sometimes it could also be rewarding for me myself. But then when I got into IFSA at the design subcommission, I'm working with a lot of people with different backgrounds, and I was afraid if I could adapt or not. And it turns out that there are a lot of things that I need to learn. And it's far different from when I was working as the head of Media and Communication Commission in my LC. But it was really rewarding when I got the chance, or the what is it called? When I was talking to Christina, and then when I had the chance to talk to Sylvanisa about this position, and then it turns out that I also have Ao here, as you can say, my best friend in Comcoms, and it's really fun to share your experience in Comcoms, and then also get help from other people as well. And Chloe here as the head of yes, Chloe here as the head of commission is also really supportive. So being afraid or not is no longer an issue, because at the end of the day, it's true like what Al said. In Comcoms, you would always have friends and they're always supportive. So yes, I think that's how I progress. Okay, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, that was absolutely amazing insight, Uma. It's so good to hear that you learned a lot of things during your position. And honestly, Uma's one of the most amazing people who works with visuals. Very quick to think, and she always produces amazing designs. Okay, so next, to answer the question of what was the thing that you were most afraid of when first starting out, and how did that progress to your position now, we can have Elizabeth.
Okay, so one of the major things I had issues with was combining regular post requests with my schedule, because I was very busy at that point in time, but then trying to do my regular job and trying to give Lisa the best at that point in time was what got me scared. And then when I had the changeover meeting with Belle, and then I saw the list of descriptions and things I had to do, I became worried that would I be able to meet up with all of these requirements? But then now I'm so into it, and then the fear is no longer there, because it's just what I always like to do. So I'll just say that if you're trying to apply to any of the positions, just make sure that it's something you're interested in, something you're passionate about, so that when you start to do it, you just see yourself enjoying it, and then the fear and stress just goes off, and then enjoying yourself. And especially when you're in one of the best, commissions, communication, it's a very cool commission to be in. So that's it for me.
Yes, thanks, Elizabeth. And that's true. Communications is a very vibrant commission. And yeah, social media is definitely one of those things where you need quick to have quick thinking. So it may seem like intimidating for one person to be handling like all 5 social media accounts, and that's not including YouTube, as the previous social media head handled. But it was not mentioned in the presentation, but we have the help of commissioners as well. If you guys know Fikri, he's been very helpful with social media, and it's very supportive as well to have someone working under you, so that you don't feel too overwhelmed with the tasks that are going in, because a lot of tasks can go in at different times. So that's something to consider. And I think before we go to the next person to present, there's some chats here. Davis asks how it looks like how one needs some good background in IT and or web management for most of these positions. How is it possible to learn on the job for a person with little experience? And Ao replied, well, actually, it's my first time being an official. I'm kind of worried because being the head of web, since in some parts it involves coding and stuff where I'm not really having a clue about. But Simone, that's the current secretary of the IFSA officials, and Jonas, the previous head of web, have helped me so much in the beginning of the term, and also the other comcoms helped me with this as well. So yeah, while it is very, very essential that you have a little background of technical matters, if you haven't had any experience like in your LC or starting your own social media matters or design matters, it's a very good starting point to look at them now, or at least look at let's say there's a Facebook post of an advertisement and you think like, whoa, that's a very nice advertisement. Maybe you can see what you like about it, and then what things that are interesting to you about it. And those are the starting points where you can jump off into exploring different things about design, layout, maybe how it was marketed. Was it like a consistent thing that you saw in your timeline? How did it catch your interest? These are the kinds of questions that you can ask if you're still starting out in a position. And I think this is applying for multiple platforms. So if you're worried that you're not too experienced in a certain field, there's always room to start start trying, or let's say researching it. But I don't know if it's really researching because it's not too academic, but you can start looking for things that catch your interest. And yeah, that's about it. So I think I'll also answered her part for the question that I raised. So last one to answer, how what was the thing you were most afraid of before at the start of the term, and how did it progress? We can have Yuyo. And just for a background of everyone, Yuyo was also the head of publications in the previous term. So this is Yuyo's second term. So maybe she can give insight as a returning official in Comcoms.
So, what I'm afraid of most at the very beginning as the sub-commission head, I was worrying if I can meet the criteria of the newsletter. Here the criteria includes like the grammar and spelling, since English is my second language, and also the contents. That did I include too much, or did I make the newsletter too short? What's worse is that my previous term, the person doesn't seem to use social media very much, and I cannot contact him at all. So the previous one, or the 2 terms before, of Comcom's head tell me about how to do it and work, and give me a lot of advice. Also, all the other officials help me a lot. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you for that, Yuyo. And we also have some new chats in the room. So will you be reading these, Jasmine, or shall we check on what's happening in Slido since someone seems to be typing?
Yeah, you can read the question.
All right. So Dr. typed, hey, thank you for all of the wonderful presentations. I have a question, but anyone is open to answer it. How do you cope with having more workload than expected while also balancing your schoolwork? This is a great question, especially considering that I think three members of Comcoms are in their graduating year. So does anyone like to answer? Okay, maybe we can have, wait, Elizabeth, were you raising your hand?
Yeah. So I want to answer this doctor. I want to give an answer to doctor's question. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I feel when you're still an undergraduate, when you're still in school, when you have more time to even put into all of this. Because after graduation, and when you have a real job, like the real job that you have to attend to be much more stressful. So I back then when I was still in school, I used to feel like I do not have time. The workload is stressful. But thinking about it now, I feel like I have more time than I have now. So I just feel enjoy it, be in the moment, enjoy it, and make sure that you're doing what you like to do. Don't just pick your position and apply for it. Make sure that that position is something you're interested in, something you're passionate about, so that while the stress comes up and you're trying to balance it with work, you just see yourself enjoying it instead of complaining. So one thing I do is I make sure that I have a list, like a to-do list that you have, like, okay, this certain time of your day goes to doing your job, and this other time of the day goes to focusing on schoolwork. So just try to have a schedule that you work on and be diligent with the schedule so that you can meet up with your requests and meet up with the things you have to do when you're at that position. But just know that being an undergrad, you have more time. Like when you're done with school and you're now working, there will be no one saying you wish you had those days back, but basically, just have a schedule you work with and be diligent with it so that you can always meet up with requests and work required of you at the position. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for that, Elizabeth. So um, maybe we can have also insight from someone who has been doing field work while managing her position. So Uma, are you there? Maybe you can give some insights on balancing some duties.
Okay. So I hope it's not too loud here. Uh, I'll try to answer this question because honestly, I myself have sometimes have troubles with balancing my workload with my schoolwork, especially now in this semester. It turns out I have a lot of field work to do, and it's not possible for me to get in touch with my computer and then work on the design requests. So every time I had the chance, then I would do it. And then sometimes in one day, I would do like 2 until 3 design requests at once. Because if that day I am not free, then I won't be able to work on the design request. So sometimes the design request got postponed, but still, when I had the chance to do it, like in between classes or basically every time I got the chance to get in touch with my laptop, then I would just do it. And then that's how I balance my workload with my schoolwork. And then also, I agree with Elizabeth is to do what you love to do, not just to apply for a position because you want to be in that position. Because I think that in design is that I find it as a what would you call it, like a leisure, like a playtime for you. So every time I design is basically um, my time to give pour out my creativity and have fun, and then basically just relax. And that's how I managed to balance the workload with the schoolwork. And that's just based on my experience. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Uma. Um, okay, so Al also has a message. I'll be reading it out for the benefit of those watching this recording. about managing the time with your studies, I think you just have to make a priority list on the tasks you must do in IFSA and balancing it with your studies. Since actually it's not that much of work if you finish it one by one, not all at once. I myself also have a bachelor thesis in the first semester of being head of web, and I am currently doing an internship too. So yeah, make a priority list, and I try to always check email every day in case there's an emergency request. Yes, so there were times where it's actually funny because I think I was the one I have most conversations with in comcoms also. So I'm amazed that she manages to balance thesis works and web requests at the same time. And it's a skill that you develop when you try to organize your workloads, and it helps also to make a bullet point or to-do list of the things you need to do so that you can easily tick them off and mark what parts are done and what parts need to be done. So if you're interested in making bullet lists, Kanban boards, or any charts that help you visualize the small tasks that you do, that's something to help out as well. Yuyo, would you also like to answer the question on how you manage tasks involving academics and IFSA responsibilities?
Just like I will make a priority list and to do it one by one. But I think I'm not very. I cannot control myself very well and often being too lazy. So I showed in the slide saying that the publication also published blog posts, but actually most of the blog posts was published by web. That's it for me.
Yes, thank you, Yuyo. So one thing to also note about balancing your time is that if you look like you're having a very filled schedule, like for example, right now it's our finals week in our university. So I'm not too active with my email. So I asked the other comcoms team, hey guys, can you help out with this? If you're available, I'll be gone for like maybe 2 days, or I'll still be checking my messages. So if there are tasks that need to be done, you can communicate with the other officials as well. That's why it's so important that comcoms accounts that are being handled, there's exchange of knowledge between the officials so that you can cover for the other people if there's an emergency or it needs help. And another thing to add also is to have help of your commissioners. So within a subcommission, you can get people to work for you as commissioners. That's what happened in social media with Elizabeth and Fikri. So if you don't have time to manage your things like 24/7, especially for requests that come in short periods of time, you can enlist help from someone who can definitely manage what platform that you're having your request on, or you can tap someone from comcoms that includes me as the comcoms head or your fellow subcommissioners. And that's about it. And Dr. says in the chat, very smart. Thank you everyone for your answers. And Al wants to add also. Oh, also don't forget to tell your head of commission and others in the head of subcommissions if you will be offline for a few days so that others can help you with the tasks. Yes, that's very important, especially if it's something that involves like pre-planning. Like for example, if you want to have an event announcement that's going to be posted on the same day that you're having a very important exam. It's important to have someone get a heads up that you won't be available for this time. So can someone help out for this at the moment? There's this request that was given to me, but I can't access my laptop, or the internet is not working right now. So someone will be able to help out with that request. Yeah. Any more requests or feedback?
Thank you, Chloe, and thank you everyone for your questions and our dear heads of subcommissions to answer it. And if there is no more questions, we can proceed with the next point. And that's our dear VP, Elif. She has a message for us.
Yes, thank you so much to Dear Communication Commission. I think it was very crucial to hear your insight and experiences for the upcoming position holders. And also thank you very much for preparing this very comprehensive presentation, including the tasks and the workload, which are very important. And in the chat, I have also shared a link where you can access to the previous episodes of the IFSA Officials Roundtable Series. Our next episode will be with the Partners Commissions, and please make sure to follow us on social media and in order to join in if you're interested in these positions. And lastly, I would like to also thank dear Jasmine for the introduction and moderating this session. And now I will stop the recording and we can have a final group picture if